Hi, Kristen. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this video with me today.
Absolutely.
I have just spoken to a lot of parents in Escambia and Santa Rosa County, and they might have kids that are in elementary school, some are in middle and high school, but us moms and dads, we worry about stuff. They've met a CR teen, we've had some discussions, and now, as my alumni, which makes me a little sad because I miss you. I just want to kind of have you share a little bit like where you started off freshman year, where you ended up senior year, and then after that, we'll kind of talk about what you're doing right now in college. And basically share with them how a program like Chain Reaction or doing the things that you did with CR helps you be successful along with everything else. So, where'd you go to high school?
I went to Pensacola High School
Okay, and you graduated
last year, 2020.
last year. And where are you currently at school?
I'm currently at Florida State University.
Florida State. And what is your major?
Interdisciplinary medical sciences, so essentially like pre-med.
Nice. Okay. So go ahead. And when did you join CR? Just kind of tell us how it helped you. Go.
Yeah, for sure. So I joined CR my freshman year, just because I had heard from like my older siblings and all of their friends, like, oh, that was a cool way you can get community service hours. It's really fun. Like, you'll it helps you individually as a person. But honestly, at the time, I was like, blah, whatever. I just wanted to join. I was like, community service hours, cool. Got to check that off. Not a big deal. So when I first joined, it wasn't really like an emotional attachment or commitment to service. Not that most kids do at that age. Um, I was just looking for an easy way to get hours, and I was like, okay, this could be it. And when I first joined, um, I was kind of looking for something that, although it was just for service, that I would honestly be interested in. And so CR Science was the first project I ever joined. And it was really interesting for me as a student that likes science, math, and just STEM in general. I thought, okay, well, at least I can do something I enjoy while I do it. And so I did a freshman year. I came in with a couple friends, but honestly, like, I feel like I was one of the only ones that really gravitated towards it because I put myself into it. And I feel like that's also one of the keys of CR. You really have to invest yourself into service and into the experience as a whole in order to get something out of it. Because if you just see it as hours, then again, you're not going to be able to benefit from the full experience. Um,
Right.
and so I'd like to say I had some internal growth and character development from my freshman to sophomore year, but that's just not true. Arguably, my sophomore year, I was even worse in terms of like being loud and obnoxious. Um, but sophomore year, I just was drawn towards it again. I'd found something I liked in CR science and wanted to branch out and join other activities and other service opportunities. Um, and so sophomore year, I joined Get Grounded, which was the pot one, and
Mm-hmm.
that one was really cool. Even though I'm not artistically inclined at all, I just thought it'd be really interesting. Um, and that was the year that I was asked to serve on the CR Council, which was really quite interesting. Like for me, I was like, "Oh, awesome! It's my time to shine. I'm on the CR Council. I'm a big kid." Um, but it was really an eye-opening experience for me because up until that point, I'd always thought that the loudest person, their voice gets heard, and if they just speak their mind and speak what they want, then eventually it'll get done that way. But CR Council was really a way for me to understand the way that a group functions and the importance of each individual player on a team. Um, I again was the youngest one. Usually, council is junior and seniors, so I was the only sophomore, and it was kind of just a reminder and a wake up call to myself that it's not always going to go your way. You just have to understand that there are different levels to different groups, and each individual person needs to have their voice heard to be successful. And I think that was really the turning point for me as an individual, because going into junior year, um, I again was just serving on the council, but I feel like I understood my role as a council member a lot more. And of course, I was still going to regular service and interacting with everybody, and trying to see like what are the distinctions between a council behind the scenes and being in everyday service with just kids from high schools all across the area. And I feel like
So
that's
Sammy,
another.
let me stop you there for a second. So, because I remember Numbnut sophomore in high school, Sammy.
Yes.
And just because these parents that we're talking to, and they're deciding, they're learning about chain reaction, but they're also choosing if they want to make an investment in this program. And I think one of the things that's cool, because I've watched you evolve, and what we talk about is a transformation, is obviously if they would have talked to freshmen in high school, Sammy, or sophomore, you'd been like, yep, I'm coming. And you might have said, like, I'm making a difference, but not really mean it. And you've described how it's kind of clicked. But what I hear too is that it planted a lot of seeds. And I think that's what is for, if you have parents that are younger, is that there's a lot of parents that are planting seeds in their elementary and middle high school. But when you come to chain reaction, you actually finally are treated like an adult, and you get to grow in to what's been kind of set with you. Is that what you would say?
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I credit most of my success in terms of, not most, all, let me change that. I credit all of my success in terms of service and what I accomplished throughout high school to chain reaction. So one major thing I did throughout high school was my service project that I know you're familiar with. Do you want me to explain it, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, well, first let me explain to you like how it even came up to be. So because of chain reaction, I feel like the skills that I had were being focused on, and I was able to really grow those particular skills. Like for me, I am comfortable in the leadership position. I feel that if I put my mind to something, I'm persistent and I can really achieve something if I do that. But at the time, coming into chain reaction, I didn't know that those skills were possible. But it was because of going through the program and interacting with other service projects and other children and other kids and other interns that I realized that, oh, maybe this is something that I could possibly do on my own. And so through honestly, the guidance of chain reaction and the investment that it put in me, I was able to start my own project outside of chain reaction, which is where I started an after school program. And then the county no longer required me, elementary schools, to assign homework. And so I was like, okay, well, now what do I do? And so then I made a math and reading curriculum, the reading curriculum, which I used from chain reaction in unison. So again, that's just how chain reaction, even after you go off on your own and you're trying to start something new, you always have chain reaction to fall back on as a sort of guidance and then a helping hand to get you to your end goal. And then after that, I wanted to encourage reading, and so I launched the book drive. And just this past August, we finished a community library with like 8,000 books. And so awesome, happy ending. It was really great, and arguably the best experience of my entire life. But I genuinely couldn't have done it if I didn't have the confidence and the skill set necessary from chain reaction. And that's honestly just something that you get through sticking with chain reaction and just trusting the process. I know that used to be our slogan, and I don't know if it is anymore, but there is some truth behind it. Because if I had told freshman me that you're going to open up a library, I would have said no. But by sticking through the program and really taking the criticism and taking the compliments and taking, hey, you can work on this, or you can work on that, or maybe you're more skilled in this area, just taking all of that in and really processing it individually. Yeah, that's what I feel.
And I think that's, and I don't know if of course I have no idea what I said today because it's a video. But obviously what CR is, we want you to come at least 8 weeks. Sometimes you come more, sometimes you come less. So it really is that journey through the 4 years of high school, and seeing that transformation and like pulling. I know like you did lacrosse, you were involved in science Olympiad. So like you pull all of that, but like through our resume learning plan, and when we do 3-1, it kind of pulls all that stuff together and makes you as a student kind of have those aha moments. So I know thinking about, oh my God, will my kid get into college? Will they be successful? And your parents don't always get to see the best of their children. At Chain Reaction, we typically get to see the best of you. But obviously what you've kind of shared is that Chain Reaction gives you that opportunity to grow and to be the best of yourself. Looking back now and knowing that you're a freshman in college and maybe what you have versus some other friends, is there anything that if the parents are freaking out or worried or concerned, how do you believe CR has helped you be prepared for where you are now as a freshman in college? And how do you think it will help you continue all the way till you reach your career?
I mean, there are like two main lessons I learned from CR that honestly like stick with me to this day and I constantly think about. The first of which is that, and I know a lot of people say this, but it was really a CR that it really like was dug into me. And it's that a resume isn't just checkbox you're checking off. It's just, you're supposed to fill it with things that you're truly passionate about. And then that way everything will fall into place. And so although I started Chain Reaction with, oh, this is just a checkbox, it was there that I actually realized that, wait a second, when I'm filling out my resume, it doesn't mean squat if I'm just gonna say, oh, an hour here, like a random whatever. But when you're really like investing yourself in an opportunity. So if I really think back about it, I maybe had like 4 service opportunities on my resume, but they totaled almost 800 hours. So it has nothing to do with, am I spreading myself thin? Am I getting involved into a bunch of things? It's really, what are you putting into what you're getting involved with? And that was really what CR did with me, because I first got into CR and that was something I lasted with for 4 years. And I think that was like 300 hours there. If you're really investing yourself, the return will be equally as great. And so from CR, I was able to branch out somewhere else. And then there I put like 500 hours. And so I know parents and kids get really stressed out about, oh, I need to get this, I need to check this, I need to look like a diverse individual. Not really. I'm going to disagree with that. Even here at FSU, like on our first day so here at FSU, I'm a presidential scholar, which means there's like 30 of us here. And we were just, it's like the highest scholarship you can achieve here. It's more of just an opportunity to interact with like-minded individuals. And when we first got there, the first thing they said was, I know most of you are thinking, why am I here? I don't match what other people have accomplished. But it's not that all of you have accomplished everything. It's that each of you have focused on an individual thing that makes you great. And so that was kind of eye-opening to me. One of the kids that I'm with did research at Harvard. And I was like, wow, that's insane. That's not something I did. And so he's like, don't look to your left and look to your right and compare yourself as, oh, they did this and I did that. Look at what you've accomplished and how that makes you a better individual. And so when I was like, okay, well, my thing is predominantly service. Like, that's just what I've done. And I was like, well, that's not a bad thing. That's something I've loved. And honestly, something I grew to love because of CR. I'm going to be honest. I didn't love CR. I mean, I didn't love service my entire life. But that's just something that CR.
You just said, I'll be honest, I didn't love CR.
I meant to say service. I did. It just came out. I didn't love service, but that's something that CR taught me, and I realized was true when I finally reached my goal of getting into this program at FSU. And that's something that he reiterated. The director of presidential scholars was like, you guys each focus on one specific particular skill set, and that's what you've perfected, and that's why you're here. So yeah.
That's awesome. And so how do you feel like it's helping you in college?
I mean, going back to that sense of confidence, and Chain Reaction, it was there that I was able to understand what I was capable of possessing, what I was capable of achieving by myself without like the strict leadership of someone. And in college, that's it. There's no one watching over you saying, oh, there's here an opportunity here. Oh, you should try out for this. Oh, you should do this. It's, what do I know I'm capable of, that I know I can invest myself in, and that I know that I can achieve? And so looking back at what I learned in Chain Reaction, saying, okay, I've always had a love for service with children and education. I sought that out and I looked for it. And I was like, okay, I've already found an organization here in Tallahassee that does exactly that. And I go every week, and it's honestly the best part of my week. And I look forward to it every Thursday. And so I think going forward is that same mentality of knowing yourself and knowing what you yourself are capable of. And I genuinely credit that to Chain Reaction and helping me find myself early in my high school career.
Well, I will say, Sami, because we just did your post-secondary where we check in on you, and I do this with a lot of teens, but very impressed that you've already joined 2 clubs, one being service, one being about refugees. You have already been doing your professional development, and in a month, you'll already have your summer plan. So as a freshman and a freshman boy, That's impressive. So thumbs up. I'm really proud of you.
I appreciate it.
Is there anything you'd like to, at this point, hopefully they've each donated $1 million and I mean, I'm sure that's what they've done completely. But anything you want to say to the people that are on this phone call or Zoom call that have now gotten to learn all about CR? Because you're closing it out. You're the last part of the call.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess thank you guys for joining us. And honestly, I know you hear a lot of people just talking about CR and talking about CR, but if it wasn't true, there wouldn't be this many students in CR and after completing CR advocating for it if it really didn't make an impact on the lives of those who are going through it. Like, honestly, like as an individual who's already completed it, I could have just been like, bye, and I'm done with it. And I'd never have to look at CR again. But because of how much it's helped me and how much I know it could help other students and other teens just looking to find themselves, I have to go back and I have to advocate for it because it's genuinely one of the greatest experiences I've ever gone through.